All right, September 12th, 2025. A beautiful day, as always, to pick up some trash. But not as always. Today I'm in Ottawa, beautiful Ottawa. I'm in the Little Italy area, right by the Absolute Comedy Club. That was a dangerous wave of my picker. Here doing some gigs. Figured I'd see what Ottawa trash was about in the meantime. Gonna try and get all the way down to Parliament Hill, pick up some real trash down there. See if I can fit Mark Carney in this bucket, am I right? We'll see if there's a classier brand of trash in Ottawa or if they take better care of the area around Parliament Hill. I got this fucking ribbon stuck on my picker right now. I was trying to show off that I just picked up a crushed can and then an empty pack of raws. There's a lot of weed and mushroom places around here. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see what sort of trash we got here in Ottawa. This is, I'm gonna be trying to do a few different episodes with some interesting guests while I'm here. But I got in last night, did the first show, went very well, Be-New. If you're not familiar with the term Be-New, that's your fault, not mine. Look at the Ben Walker clips. I'm gonna have to leave some of this trash because there's just so much. This is a massive, disgusting parking lot that people clearly abuse. And I've got these subpar pickers that don't seem like they're gonna grab as well as my pickers back home. Okay, I finally got that flat can. It took a lot more work than it should have. These ones look good. They got the rubber style prongs. But yeah, I managed to avoid going to a Canadian Tire. So that's a big win. I went to a local, I assume it's a local family owned business. It's called Preston Hardware and it's right on Preston Street. And yeah, they had pickers that went all the way up to $60. I got the little $12 guy because I'm gonna leave it behind when I leave town. And as I've already mentioned, I'm hemorrhaging money on these remote trash talks. I have to buy a bucket and pickers every time. It sets me back like $50 plus the gloves. I'm gonna shorten this pole because my arm is already dying for some reason. I don't know exactly if I'm gonna last. But yeah, I have some good guests lined up, but woke up, it was a beautiful morning. I didn't really just want to lay around. And I thought, let's just try and do one myself quickly. Again, I always enjoy the challenge of seeing if I can talk the whole time. And I know I can on this one because there's so much to talk about. So many crazy things happening in the world. Well, one specifically crazy thing that involves a man getting shot in the neck and the reactions from that. But yeah, I'm realizing, my hero Bill Burr, who I was shout out for doing an hour on his own, pretty sure he has like a list of topics that he checks in with. And before I was leaving the house, I thought, I've got all these things. I need to write down the bullet points. But then I just put on my shoes and now I'm already out here. So the question will be, can I recall any of the things I want to talk about? I guess I should kind of work my way backwards. There's something I was going to talk about with Lethbridge from this really drunk guy that we met in the bar. And he was a classic drunk piece of shit. There was only 3 people in the bar. Me, Dale K, hypnotist, great performer, who was helping out with some stuff at the fair we were setting up for the Lumberjack show. And then, yeah, this construction guy who was way across the room from us at the bar, but went out of his way to sort of, heard somebody say, hey, you guys say this? And it was like, no. He's like, oh, okay, sorry, I just thought, he said something that I knew about. And like, yeah, well, we didn't, and we don't need nothing from you. But Dale K's super nice guy, a bit too inviting. So yeah, the guy took the opportunity to come all the way across the bar and sit with us for, felt like forever. There was something very specific about why I wanted to bring this guy up. I didn't get to do it in Lethbridge on my own because I just forgot. And this is why I need bullet points. It was right down the checklist of all the sort of piece of shit things. He had stories about how he beat up like 4 bouncers. But of course, the one bouncer he couldn't beat up was the Asian guy who kicked him in the head so fast you've never seen it come. The subtext of which was, hi-ya! Basically, he tried to make it sound like he'd beat up every bouncer except some guy who was Bruce Lee, because I'm sure he thinks every Chinese guy is Bruce Lee. And he had stories about his ex-wife. He was stuck working so hard because of his ex-wife, and he said something like she's been pregnant 3 times since we split up. He said that near this midpoint of our endless conversation. And then like 5 minutes later, he was trashing her again. Well, yeah, she's been pregnant like 5 times. And I was like, oh man, she's Said she's gotten pregnant a whole extra time in the last 6 minutes since you were sitting here. And he kind of didn't really clock that I was giving him shit. Dale noticed it, but I mean, I'm lucky he didn't notice it, because he would have beat the shit out of me just like he beat the shit out of those 8 bouncers. What was the goddamn reason I was trying to bring this guy up? I don't know if it touched on the Charlie Kirk thing. I don't think it was that. It was, well, anyway, I can't get so focused on this old piece of shit that I forget to pick up litter. That would be quite ironic. There was that. There was another thing I wanted to talk about. The bike Rave Winnipeg is something I just discovered, and really cool people who have this insane mobile DJ rig they put on the back of an e-bike, and they cart around. And yeah, I saw them in the village last weekend. I was just talking to the woman. It's an older couple, and she said, yeah, you know, we spent about 15 grand building this thing. And I was sort of like, yeah, so I guess the goal is show it off, just pop-up style, and then eventually be renting it or whatever. She said, no, not really. Just do this type of thing, make people happy. I was like, okay. And she's like, yeah, you know, we are meeting lots of DJs though. I was like, okay, so end goal is you sort of have a roster of DJs that you can call. And she was like, no, you'd think so, wouldn't you? And I was like, would you think so? Because I don't, it doesn't sound like you've thought about this at all. And she laughed at that. But yeah, basically as near as they've thought about it, it's just that they love doing stuff and love house music and DJs, and they want to create that atmosphere and have stuff going on in the city, which obviously I find pretty relatable as someone who tried to do a lot of pop-up events and different things. And so I told her a little bit about Trash Talk and said, oh yeah, you should be a guest. And she was like, oh yeah, you know, me and my husband maybe. I don't know if we have much to say. And I'm like, no, that's perfect. You don't have to have anything to say. We pick up litter and we have meandering conversations, and that's the whole point of it, is that anybody would have a good conversation. I'm gonna make this light. Anyway, so I added them. I had a little back and forth over Instagram with what turned out to be the husband, who I didn't talk to that night. And yeah, it came to a pretty funny head where, and to be clear, I still like these bike rave people. I don't think they're watching my stuff, so I feel fine trash talking them. But yeah, basically got to a point where the guy said, oh, we also have this pedicab set up that we're doing pedicab karaoke. And we talked to Les, the owner of Club Happenings, and he loves comedy, and I do know Les. He's a nice guy, a terrible comedian. I don't mind saying that. I'll say that to Les's face. I think Les sort of knows that. Les just loves comedy in general, so he's been running open mics there more or less as an excuse to do it himself, I think, and give himself a little stage time. And yeah, they said, oh, we talked to Les, and he was saying, oh, we should use this mobile cab, pedicab thing to do a, you know, pop-up comedy show and just kind of surprise people with comedy, and we'll take donations and give it to a charity. And everything I've learned in comedy over almost 15 years now tells me it's a terrible idea. And they said was, yeah, Les said it'd be gold if we do this. So I wrote him a message back and said, oh, I like Les. I disagree that it would be gold. I think comedy works best when people are expecting it, not bombarded by it. But, you know, if you want to work together on some sort of concept for a pop-up thing. Because when I reached out to them, I wasn't trying to do a show with them. We're not a stand-up show anyway. I wanted them as guests. I wanted them to promote this awesome thing they do and how much work they've put into it. I should be showing off the garbage more. I keep forgetting. Basically, when I said it's not a gold idea, the guy wrote back. And so actually, that wasn't Les who said it was gold. That was my expression. And then he sent the eye-rolling emoji and said, yeah, sure, we'll message you if we do anything. Another eye-rolling emoji. And then he blocked me. He straight up blocked me, which I don't know the last time I've been blocked. I don't know if I ever have been blocked. And I was just like, okay, like, I guess I'm not gonna have them on Trash Talk, and I guess this guy doesn't like me now. And then an hour later, he unblocked me and said, hey, sorry, you know, maybe I got a little hot there. I think maybe I misread your message. And I said, yeah, man, I didn't mean to offend you. You know, I personally don't have any appetite to do a pop-up open mic with you. If you guys want to do it, you know, good luck. And then he was kind of like, yeah, you know, he just sent these really long messages. And he seems like a sweet guy, and maybe just, yeah, I don't know. Again, I guess kept saying, hey man, give me a call. Like, if we talk, I think you'll understand my admiration for what you do. and then maybe we could hash out a comedy idea too. But I said main thing is like I'd just love to have you as a guest so we could talk about the fact that you and Bike Rave Winnipeg are a thing, and you do these pop-up things. That's all I'm meaning. You just seem very wary of me in general, which I guess maybe he's right because now I'm trashing him. But again, this is a friendly trashing. This isn't a full-on trash talk. This is just explaining how miscommunication happens in the modern era when things happen over text. And yeah, anyway, I couldn't get the guy to call me, and he did backpedal to the point where we might be amicable, and maybe one day they'll be again. Maybe they'll see this and they'll realize, oh, we should just actually talk to this person and use it as a promotional tool. But yeah, he sort of just kept saying, oh, well, actually, I will talk a little trash about this guy because he said, I think it'd be a good idea, and I think, I'm a big fan of like the things you learn through failure. And I was like, hey man, like I get that. I totally like that. But I'd say like, let's give ourselves a chance of success. And then if it fails, so be it. But like what you're talking about right now, I guarantee you will not feel good for the comedians. It will not feel good for the people walking by. And anyway, he said, and just to be clear, I'm not talking about being one of the comedians myself. I just, and I was like, okay, so, you like failure, but you don't want to fail you don't want to be on stage failing with us. So I did think that was actually a piece of shit move. Ron, if you're listening, I'll do this with you, but the only way I'll do this with you is you have to host it or be on stage. You can fail with us. You can eat your balls in front of a bunch of people at Portage in Maine who are just trying to go about their day as you surprise them with comedy. You want to get up there and fail with us, then yeah, let's fail together. But until then, you don't get to sit on the sidelines sort of grimacing or smirking as you watch us tank it. And yeah, that's my offer to Ron of Bike Rave Winnipeg. Or you just come on Trash Talk like I originally intended, and we just talk about the nice things. Is this underwear? I don't know what this is. I got about 40 more minutes of walking till I get to Parliament Hill, folks. So you're going to hear a lot more disorganized rambling here in lovely Ottawa. This is a cool street. I do like going to these different cities. This is much more like an Ontario thing. Like I was going to say, you don't see this elsewhere, but no, you see this in Toronto. Like Winnipeg doesn't have streets like this, but there are other cities. That's a nice car. Yeah, Ottawa first show. Fucking a couple pizza plates. Come on, guys. What are we doing here? Oh, this stupid picker is not good enough. Fuck me. Fuck my life. Maybe I should just listen to what Ron says from Bike Rave Winnipeg. Maybe he knows better than me, because look at me and look at him. He's some sort of fabricator, has a great job, can invest tens of thousands of dollars in gear on mobile entertainment setups. And this is my entertainment setup. There's like full-on trash bags balled up in here, but I can't be fucking dealing with this. I guess I am dealing with this now. The thing is, there's garbages around here, so I'm just taking them to those garbages. But I just don't know why someone would go through the trouble of bundling up their garbage and not just getting it to a fucking bin. Animals. Goddamn animals. And maybe I'm no worse because I don't really think this is the proper receptacle, but that's where it's going. My arm is so tired I need to find a dumpster right away. Something about this particular bucket handle is creating a real problem in my forearm. Or maybe my forearm is just absolutely toast after all these fucking trash talks I've been doing. It really helps when I have a guest to hold the bucket, which I will. Yeah, hopefully later today, hopefully a few this weekend. Oh, it's such a relief when I can just take a break. Yeah, anyway, Ottawa, day one, show one, with the very funny Monty Scott, Canadian comic. I gotta get at it. I gotta just focus on getting downtown. I want to pick up trash at Parliament Hill. I'm never gonna fucking make it if I just spend all the time in these goddamn bushes. Whew. Yeah, first night, first show, very good. Binu had a great roundabout compliment from a woman who said, I wonder if I can just use these people's bins. I don't know if they're gonna like that, but it's pretty empty. Someone's gonna yell at me. Had to be done, folks. Sorry about that. Something I'm noticing, other cities don't have big dumpsters, so maybe Winnipeg is making a mistake with the big dumpsters we have. It definitely seems that way. I guess it just invites the mass dumping. Oh, this is heartbreaking. This is trash filled with trash. This is a discarded kid seat with a bag of garbage in it. Somebody in this neighborhood is doing this specifically. Like these are the same bags I picked up around the corner. So somebody's got a real Fucking bad habit around here. Nice to see we're all people together. This is a dirty rag wrapper. Well, not a dirty rag, but yeah, it's a needle package. Sam, the bartender, taught me the expression dirty rag. We're entering Chinatown, and I actually know there's a really good sort of hot pot place around here. I went with Ben Walker. Shout out the old ball coach. He's based in Ottawa, but he's not here anymore. Or he's not here right now. He's in Mexico. Otherwise, that's kind of the reason when I could. This absolute chain has 2 clubs, Toronto and Ottawa. And the guy asked me which one I wanted to do, and I sort of panicked because he's a notoriously hard club owner to get on the phone, and so I didn't want to say, oh, give me a second, let me confirm with Ben, he's in town. I just sort of spat out Ottawa, and then I got off the phone with the booker, called Ben and said, I'm coming in September 11th. He said, I'm in Mexico. I said, fuck, should have picked a Toronto club. I could have hung out with different people out there, but I was just in Toronto, so maybe this is for the best. Anyway, first show went well. Roundabout compliment. God fucking damn it all. This fucking piece of shit picker. I regret this picker purchase so much. I wonder if I can return it. No, whatever, I'll just fucking eat it. This is my life. I don't want my life. It's the bastardization of the line from Varsity Blues. I don't want your life. And Ben Walker actually, one of the people who used to say that. Because we both ran open mics with all the fun that entails. It's a crushed insure. That would be a nice callback to the Marcel episode. But running open mics, just the interminable suffering that you'd go through of dealing with 30 open mic comedians every week. And we would frequently say to each other, I don't want my life, to express our frustration. These are crushed strawberry containers or something? Oh God, kill me now. Yep, that's what that was. The old Driscoll special. Anyway, back to this compliment I've been trying to brag about for 10 minutes, which wasn't much of a compliment. Off-brand chips. What brand is it? I can't even see. You guys can see better than me. They look like chips. Man, my fucking delts are gonna be jacked after this, my forearms. Anyway, I'm never gonna make it downtown. There's just too much goddamn trash. Never gonna get this compliment out either. After the show, went well, Binu. Girl comes up to me who is maybe Israeli or Jewish. She had a small accent. And she said, yeah, you sound, I'm gonna do a Swedish accent. I don't know what her accent was. I'm gonna just do an accent because I'm bad at them. She said, yeah, you sound really cool. I didn't know if there was more coming or I was misunderstanding. And I said, okay, thank you. But she could tell I didn't know what she was getting at. And she said, yeah, no, it's just you, the way when you're speaking, you up there, you sound very, you're cool. You don't even have to be funny. I was like, okay, but I was funny, right? I think she was saying that I was also funny, but that she found something about my speech pattern just engaging, which is a super nice compliment, and it really is a nice thing to go for as a comedian, because you don't have to be bombarding them with punchlines every goddamn second like some 80s hack comic. Not that it's easy to be hack. If it was easy to be hack, we'd all be out there hacking it up. But yeah, anyway, the fact that she just said, yeah, you can sort of speak and people will listen was nice. But in the moment, it did sound a little bit like she was saying, I wasn't funny, I was just cool. Which I'll take as a compliment. Yeah, that was night one. I came out here because I have a album recording on the 19th. I'm not sure what order I'm going to put these episodes out, but I have a strong feeling that by the time this episode gets out, we'll be well past the recording, so this is ineffective promo, but if somehow this gets out earlier, maybe I'll cut the clip. Yeah, September 19th at Lucy's Comedy Club, recording an album with counterfeit pictures. So there'll be 2 shows. Hit me up if you want to come, but in order to prepare for that, while Winnipeg has a great comedy scene with great rooms, there is one deficit, which is that there isn't a ton of opportunities to sort of do back-to-back longer sets like you would want to do if you're preparing for an album that will be recorded and live on forever. Nice little park over there. I'm not going to stop because I just want to get to the fucking Parliament Hill. And so, yeah, I reached out to this club owner just to do the feature spots here, but again, I didn't even ask. I assumed it was 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday, because that's what it's been other times I did this club. But I guess they're transitioning out of their summer schedule into fall, so in fact, there's only 1 show tonight. And yeah, basically, I flew to Ottawa for 5 shows total. It's not bad. It's not like it's a super expensive ticket or whatever, but certainly would like to have done 6. And when I was booking it, I do know sometimes I've been at this club where it gets so busy that they'll turn it into a triple header night because they have this sort of upstairs downstairs thing. So if the show gets oversold, they can do this really cool thing where they start the early show and then start another version of the early show just offset by 30 minutes downstairs. And if you juggle your host, feature, and headliner correctly, yeah, you can have 2 concurrent shows. And that would have actually been dope because I might have actually gotten to do a 45-minute set and just run the hour that or the 45 minutes that I want to do for this album. But in fact, it looks like not only will we not have 3 shows, we won't even have 2 on Friday. That's on me. I actually came here in March and had a good run, and I got a bunch of followers out of it. And I could have, if I'd gotten my shit together, I could have maybe just messaged a bunch of them and tried to make sure we had that 3rd show happen. But I kind of took it for granted. Well, at least I'll get 2 shows. It'll be worth it. It's still going to be worth it, but it's not going to be as worth it as it could have been. My arm is dying so much I might have to try the offhand pick right now, which is absolute madness, but I think if anybody can do it, I can. I've definitely, at this point, got some claim to fame as maybe having picked up trash in the most cities. That is one nice thing. I fucked up by coming here instead of Toronto. God, this is just a fucking shit show over here. I fucked up coming here instead of Toronto because, yeah, I only came here because I thought it'd be good to hang out with Ben Walker. Can't do it. Empty dart pack, ding, ding, ding. We love that. Oh, fuck, I may as well get this newspaper. And, well, that was a screw up because, yeah, now I'm just here more or less alone. It is kind of nice that I did a different city. I was in Toronto just a few weeks ago picking up trash. That was after a gig as well. Here's now we're getting into it. Now I feel like home. Now I feel good. So another dart pack. 3 dart packs in quick succession. All different packs. Yeah, I might be able to justify this Ottawa run by saying I've now notched 4 cities. Does Lethbridge count as a city? Does Lethbridge have enough people to be a city? Well, whatever. Nobody's gone further east and west just to pick up trash. I can say that. You might have picked up more trash in your individual city, but you haven't done it in a bunch of other cities. For whatever claim that's worth. Fuck, I don't know if I'm on the right street. I thought I was supposed to go, oh yeah, no, I'm on Albert Street. I'm on Albert Street. I can take this pretty much all the way downtown, I think is the way I'm supposed to do this. And then I'm gonna attack Mark Carney. I shouldn't say that. And I'm gonna... I know, actually, somebody was saying he does sort of runs, and maybe I could, if I catch him on a run, invite him to be a guest. He does some sort of trail that people know. Oh yeah, you can see Carney jogging that. Or maybe I misunderstood exactly. And actually, after the events of 2 days ago, maybe no politicians will be out jogging, trying to pick up a straw wrapper that's glued to the ground. Fuck my life, I'm just going across. I want to make this light. This looks like a long light if I don't make it. Charlie Kirk, blasted in public. And it's crazy to me how many people, on my feed at least, people saying like, classic psy-op, inside job. He's, by his own design, he was one of the most hateable people in the world, if not North America. Well, I should say in North America, if not the world. And yeah, it was crazy to me to think that you would need a psyop. Not that you need a psyop to kill him, but no, I'm definitely favoring lone gunman in this situation. I think that's going to just turn out to be someone who'd had enough. And we're going to see a lot more of that coming up. That was pretty much what happened with Luigi. I failed to grab that, and I don't want to stop in front of this bus. So let's make up for it by grabbing more stuff over here. A&W lollipop wrapper. Never even heard of such a thing. The idea that the most likely scenario for that guy was psyop is crazy. So possible, sure. But also, I will say this about the idea of conspiracy theories in general is, it is so hard for people to keep their goddamn mouths shut. That is why I don't believe in too many conspiracies, because just the idea that you could get even within a tightly knit organization like the CIA or whatever, to coordinate and everybody keep their goddamn mouths shut, it's next to impossible. And again, this will be the Bill Burr shout out, the third Bill Burr shout out or whatever. But he did a podcast for a long time with another comedian, Joe DeRosa, called Uninformed, and they'd debate or go off on things that they were uninformed about. It was, you know, just comedians bullshitting as this is, as we all want to be. We just want a format where we can just talk, and they had a good one. But then at one point, they did start getting people who would specialize in their topic, you know, I guess to make it less uninformed. Anyway, they had a cop on, and Bill's just referenced this many times, where they basically said, okay, like if we want to murder someone and get away with it, you know, here's what we would do. They each sort of outlined their thing, and Burr sort of said, okay, so, you know, step one, me and my buddy, and the guy said, oh, right there, you're 99% going to get caught. As soon as you involve one other person, one of you is going to flip on the other. Someone's going to fucking talk. And, you know, that guy, he might have been exaggerating a little bit, but I kind of believe as a homicide detective or whatever, he knew what he was talking about. And in my own personal experience, that has definitely been the case as well. Every young man who ever got excited about hooking up with a girl and wasn't supposed to tell you, they know, you tell one buddy because you're super pumped, and then that buddy tells everybody else in grade 10, and then that girl doesn't want to talk to you anymore because you embarrassed her. And the lesson there is shut your goddamn mouth. Keep it to yourself. As soon as you bring anybody else into it, you're fucking toast. And yeah, how the hell could you pull off something like an assassination, inside job type deal and just think that it's not going to come out sooner or later? Now, in terms of the other thing that gets talked about a lot of this right now is that everybody wants to say good. Live by the sword, die by the sword. This guy was a piece of shit. He has that unbelievable quote like, you know, gun deaths are the cost of the Second Amendment, so it's worth it. It's very ironic now. And what's this other one that's getting touted? Oh, I think kids should watch public executions. So a guy who says all that and then gets shot in public, it seems justified. And everybody on the left, a lot of people on the left would like to gloat about it. But then, you know, people say, well, yeah, he did have a family, and he didn't have a family. And at the end of the day, I do think that, as annoying as this guy was, we can't just start shooting each other in the neck. If you don't see it that way, I think our own, what is her, Nahanni Fontaine, what is her ministerial role? She's something within government, and yeah, she put out a big, long thing that was like, I refuse to have sympathy for this guy. And then she tried to, I don't know what the phrase is for it, like she tried to sort of get the best of both worlds, like my sympathy is for his children. Okay, well, I don't think his children would appreciate reading you saying that this guy was pure vitriol and transphobic, and even if he was, you can't have it both ways. You don't get to trash the guy, but then also act like you're taking the moral high ground by saying I reserve my sympathy for his kids, especially when you could have said nothing. You could have said nothing, Nahanni, and that would have been smarter than I think what you said. Yeah, the subtext of what you're saying is that it's okay to shoot people in the neck when they're being pieces of shit, which, I mean, we have to be pretty selective with our neck shooting criteria. Who gets to decide who's a big enough piece of shit? Someone might decide one day, Nahanni, that you're a big enough piece of trash to shoot in the neck. I'll probably have to edit that. All I'm saying is it's a very dangerous time to be doing anything publicly, I guess, coming from a guy who's insulting a bunch of people. And I feel like I have the ultimate moral high ground. Hey, a Sunjo. That's funny, I just bought a little Sunjo power tool myself, leaf blower for my building. And my little cat Barbara loves sitting in the Sunjo box. We call her Little Sunjo when she sits in the box. And it's as cute as it gets. By the way, I'm picking in my show shoes. I flew Porter, discount airline, obviously Chinese Jew, refused to upgrade the fare. So now I could only fly here with very limited baggage. And part of that is that, yeah, I don't have another pair of shoes. These are the shoes I'm going to be on stage in later, so I gotta be careful not to get myself too trashy here. Yeah, the dialogue, I had two buddies They had a very public Facebook spat. If you're having any sort of Facebook spat in this day and age, like how have you not? You're doing it to yourself. That's who I have no. I'll tell you who I have no sympathy for. Is anybody having a public Facebook argument where you can tell they're getting riled up. From doing this, you know, I've gone back and forth in the comments. But I'll tell you right now, I promise you, I'm in control. I have no actual belief that I'll change anyone's mind, and I'm mostly just trying to keep the comments cascading so I have a higher chance of a video going viral, so I have a higher chance of a wealthy patron enjoying what I do and sending me $50 to pay me back for these goddamn pickers that I have to buy. That's all I'm doing. But I saw two guys debating whether Charlie Kirk was a good guy, whether he deserved to get shot in the neck, and they actually expected to, well, I don't even think they earnestly expected to change each other's minds. They were just bickering in public. We're gonna dump in one of these buckets over here. I hope everyone's okay with that. Can't stop me. Moral high ground. I'm a nice guy. I'm picking up your garbage. That's what I tell myself. Nothing I can do is wrong because I'm doing one thing right. Funny how that works. Ooh, that was a stinky one. Ooh, we don't love that. Fuck, I'm gonna get carpal tunnel or something. It's not just my forearm now, it's my wrist. It's starting to kill me. Yeah, I can't even fucking move my hand right now. Oh yeah, I'm going the right way. I go up this street to Sparks, right on Sparks. They can't stop me. They can't fucking stop me. God, that is fucking brutal. I don't know how much you need to wring out of the public shooting. I mean, I guess I'll wring it out as much as mainstream media. I'm alt media. I don't know what I am. I don't know what you are. That's a Boardwalk Empire. My partner thinks I'm crazy. Do you think I'm crazy, Eli? I don't know what you are. And then one of the greatest fights in HBO history happens. Check out Boardwalk Empire, Knox versus Eli. You can find that on YouTube. Or you just watch the whole series, but then you're committing yourself to about 50 hours of TV. Phenomenal TV, by the way, which I don't want to spoil it, but one of the guests I'm going to have here in Ottawa is tangentially related to HBO television, and maybe we'll get into it with him. Yeah, I'm not media, but I'm going to talk about this, I guess, yeah, as much as the media. It's a big story between Trump attempted assassination and Luigi killing that CEO. And this is like those Democratic senators or lawmakers, Congress people or whatever, who were shot in their own home. Somebody shot their dog. And now this, it's really looking like the situation we created is finally coming to fruition, which is, yeah, if you leave people with guns and the feeling that nothing really fucking matters, they're gonna just start going out Death Wish style. And if you want to take someone out, I talked about this on Prairie Dogs, as near as I can tell, even if you want to take out the president, they can't stop you from taking out the president. They can assure that the very next thing that happens is you get taken out. Mutually assured destruction is sort of the best anybody can do. You can't be protected all the time unless you just live in one tower, which I guess some billionaires will probably just start doing that, never going out. But then what is the point of being a billionaire? Yeah, if you're a billionaire, you can have a pretty sweet tower. I think or island or compound, never have to show your face in public. I guess it's not exactly true that you can take anyone out, but you can take out a lot of people, and people are getting taken out. That's maybe the state of the world that we live in. I crossed the street because I felt like I was terrifying this lady talking about taking people out. That's my bad, lady. It's just a nice, normal person trying to go about their day. They don't need to hear my ideas on how safe we all are. All right, we're in downtown Ottawa, or at least on the cusp of it. Looks pretty nice. I just want to go to Parliament Hill because I want a 360 shot, same as I did at Yonge and Dundas. I want that Michael Bay parallax shot for my intro sequence. And once I get that, who cares how much trash is left behind? No, I'll do a little picking around there. I will have to switch hands because I am dying here. There's going to be a pretty serious collection of... Oh, I tried to pick up this plastic, it just all fell apart. Oh, sorry, folks. Sorry, Embassy of Nepal. Oh yeah, in Nepal, didn't they just burn down a hotel or something? Like this massive Marriott hotel, some sort of luxury hotel. I don't know what I think. To me, Marriott is luxury, but I think they found out that like the president's son had bought a massive ownership stake in it, and they were outraged that this nepo baby somehow had enough money to own a hotel, and they fucking burned it right to the ground. So again, there's very serious evidence that we're approaching an inflection point. You know, normally what keeps people from going absolutely insane is like if you have a big, well-fed middle class, they're not incentivized to burn shit down because they're still doing well enough in the game. But if enough people aren't doing well enough in the game, then you get the French Revolution, which I've also heard people keep saying, you know, we need revolution, and they bring up the French Revolution. Then I saw someone point out that like that it wasn't really successful. Like after the French Revolution, they still had kings and monarchs for generations, and then Napoleon. So like apparently who did worse in the French Revolution was the common people, which I haven't looked into one bit, but I did see one person commented, and they sounded more confident than me. I suppose at the very least I could just start running that type of stuff through AI. The amount of things that I see one person say, and it seems well thought out enough that I don't want to say I believe it, but I at least give it room in my head. And like anymore, I think you could probably dispel those things pretty quickly. But yeah, I don't know. AI's got its own shortcomings, obviously. Oh yeah, we're getting near some cool stuff. I was downtown in Byward Market the other day, last night I should say, meeting up with some comedians. Very funny that I'm here. Very funny Chris Locke, who's also a Trash Talk guest, is here. He was here doing a different comedy club. And then Forrest Hatia and Noah Brodeur, Alberta boys, they were here doing the other comedy club. And so after midnight, we all met up at Byward Market and watched Chris eat a poutine. Kidding, other guys got food. I didn't get food, man. I got in at like 4 o'clock. There's good food around me, but none of it's like real food. It's, you know, I bought like a pasta salad from this Italian grocer. Shout out Di Renzo's. If you've ever been to Ottawa, I feel like people know about it. It's in Little Italy. It's an absolutely phenomenal little grocery, classic Italian deli place, and they'll make a sandwich as big as your face for $10. And it's actually, when I said I chose Ottawa over Toronto because I wanted to see Ben Walker, that was maybe 75% of it. The other 25 is I did want to eat one of these sandwiches again. I look forward to it every time I play this club, every time I'm in Ottawa. Get a $10 classic Italian sandwich. Yeah, anyway, there's just no good food. So I did get a pasta salad from them, but my eating's been all fucked up. Then I ate at the club. And the club actually made a decent chicken club sandwich, but it's still comedy club food. It's not what your body wants. It's just, it'll fuel you. So anyway, I was all fucked up. And then one beer, 2 Paloma, tequila Palomas in a can, a 7% drink I've never had before, but I'll be honest, I woke up this morning still burping tequila Paloma. And then Steve, the MC, bought us a shot of Jameson. I bought us a round of drinks when we got to the club at Byward. So that was a vodka soda. And then his lady Joey bought us another Jameson. So yeah, I was, whatever that was, 6 drinks and a pasta salad. And I didn't need any food from Zach's late night diner, but Chris got a poutine. Forrest got veggie sausage, which is hilarious, late night meat. And Noah had a full goddamn French toast, bacon, egg, pancake breakfast. These are my coworkers, and everybody wonders why we kill ourselves. Just kidding. There are comics who kill themselves. I don't know if, you know, as weird a profession as it is, I don't really know, do more comics off themselves compared to other professions? Probably not. I think I've heard dentists is the worst, which is hilarious. Looking into the human mouth turns out to be quite demoralizing. That makes total sense to me. So we're real close to the ledge now, and I actually don't see a ton of garbage, presumably because they pay for good landscaping. But I guess I'll cut across and see what I can see over there. I gotta figure out where I'm gonna get this big sweeping shot I've been waiting for. The big 360 spin shot. Oh, I could very easily see myself Ubering back, or at the very least, putting away the camera. I don't know how long I can keep this up for. especially because I'm going to do, yeah, probably another hour and a half or hour with my first guest, who I don't want to spoil, because there's one thing I've learned in show business, it's that most things don't happen, so for all I know, he'll still bail on me. Oh, there's been a lot of pointless rambling on this one, folks. But also a lot of trash picked up, and really that's the goal. I can't say, what the fuck is going on with this goddamn intersection? Are these people, I'm going for it, I don't know what the fuck's happening here. This is a bunch of bullshit. Unprofessional bullshit. Oh God. Yep, that's what I deserve. Unprofessional bullshit is a line from I Think You Should Leave, the Tim Robinson show, which I've shouted out many times. It's from the Santa Claus episode, trailer, sketch. I don't want to ruin it in case you haven't seen it. I guess, you know what, I ruined it there. I should have called it the Crashmore sketch. The Crashmore sketch. And one of the characters says, unprofessional bullshit. And that's become a real mainstay expression in my life. A greasy food box, all right, I guess it was worth coming over there. Greasy food box. It's become a thing I say a lot. Chloe and I say it, and this morning Chloe was, back in Winnipeg playing Connections, the New York Times game, word game. We try and do all the word games every morning. I didn't pick up any of that. It's too fucking tiny. I'm too demoralized. I can't. Folks, I'm fading fast here. We play Connections, and if you're familiar with Connections, I guess if you're unfamiliar is why I should explain it. There's 16 words or phrases, most often a single word, and they break down into 4 categories of 4, and you have to identify those categories, and it's sometimes tricky because you just literally can't figure out how these words could be related, or sometimes it's tricky because a couple of them could fit into 2 different categories. I can't think of a good explanation. I'm officially picking up litter, I think, on the lawn of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what this makes me, but it's something significant. This is in Parliament, fuck me. This is something else. Well, either way, my tax dollars should have already done this if we can't keep this clean. At no point, if even a trace of litter were to touch this ground, I would expect laser beams to come out and eradicate it. That's the sort of pride we should have in our national monuments. Capacity legal capacity, 450. Well, now the capacity is fucking 0, buddy. Oh, Supreme Court of Canada. That's what this is. That's pretty nice. Oh, I lost what I was talking about right before this. I'm fading too fast. Supreme Court of Canada, my grandfather, Sid Green, one of the founding fathers of the provincial NDP party in Manitoba, he had a case heard in the Supreme Court because so he was a lawyer, and after he retired from politics, he continued to have his own practice. And in my life of side hustles, there was a brief era where I was pretty much his secretary, because he would maintain about 5 or 6 cases, mostly estate cases, helping friends or whatever. Yeah, he maintained a private practice, and I would type his correspondence and his motions, documents for court. He would dictate it into a cassette tape, real old school, and then I would type it up for him, because he's at this point an 85-year-old man, single finger typer, he can't be doing it. And he got into trouble with the Law Society because they made continuing education courses mandatory, which anybody in any professional discipline knows about continuing education courses. And he basically took issue with them making it mandatory. He said, you don't have the power to do that. He made it very clear. Again, I typed these documents to the head of the Law Society, and his argument was, I'm not against continuing education. I've taken these courses over the years. I've led these courses over the years. But as a matter of law, you can't make it mandatory for any members to start doing this. What are you going to do if I don't take it? Are you going to disbar me? You don't have that power. And the Law Society, it's funny, when I tell this to most other people in any profession, they're like, how is it not mandatory? Like every other profession is just very used to mandatory continuing education. And yeah, his argument was, it's never been mandatory, and this isn't a good way to make people learn, which is also, anytime I tell people about this, they're always like, yeah, of course, once a year I sign up for some bullshit course. My brain's on autopilot, but I'm there because I have to notch the hours in my book for my professional association. And the Law Society wanted to standardize it the same way everybody else does. And they went back and forth with Sid for a long time, just saying like, look, man, just do it. We're doing it. Don't push this issue. And he refused and refused. to a point where finally the head of the Law Society, I always remember this because I was opening the mail, sent him a letter with a DVD inside and said, look, Sid, here's a copy of the PowerPoint. Just tell me you looked at it and we'll just mark you down for the credit. Sid said, absolutely not, I refuse. Forcing the issue, forcing them to, I don't know if they technically disbarred him, but they basically said, you're suspended, you can't practice law. And Sid challenged them. And of course, when you fight the Law Society of Manitoba in the Queen's Court of Manitoba, you lose. He lost to them. And then instead of taking that line down, he appealed it to the Supreme Court of Canada. He did lose in the Supreme Court of Canada, but he took that as a win, because I don't know if you know this about our old buddy, the Supreme Court back there, but they don't hear every case. They don't have to hear every case that people want to submit. They only hear cases if they agree that there is some larger issue at stake here, that the case does have merit in terms of setting legal precedent. So I think Sid loves the fact that they took it to the Supreme Court. They let him get in there. And I think he also loves the fact that he can say, I'm the only member in history to be in completely good standing and be banned from practicing law. So yeah, then he had to stop when he was around 89 or 88 or something. I can't remember. I can't remember how old he was when I started. I can't remember how old he was exactly when he stopped. I think he stopped practicing law right before he was 90. He's still out there. Look, he's still spoiling for a fight if anybody will let him hear a case. I don't even know how that works now. If he can, could he just like represent himself in court if he had a traffic ticket? Is he allowed to do that? Probably, but I guess he can't. He can't probably hear anybody else. He can't take anybody else's case. So that's what I was saying there. If you think I'm just tired and distracted, so I'm not picking up garbage. No, I'm still scanning, and there's just a lot less garbage here, as there should be, because now I think I'm in the heart of it. Is this Parliament, or there's one more building down there? I gotta get down there, and then I can officially say I did it all. But this is actually kind of a nice break for me, because I can, if it's the problem is holding the bucket and the pole in one hand. That's what kills me. So giving myself a little break is so key right now if I'm gonna make it back. I don't think I'm gonna pick all the way back. That would be insane. And then it'll just be a super long, pointless episode. It's already probably a pretty long, pointless episode. Oh, that's not true. I said a nice thing, like don't shoot people in the neck, right? That's what's crazy is that that's now like, oh, that's a nice thing. Like it's not for granted. You can't take it for granted that if you meet someone, they're gonna say people shouldn't get shot in the neck. I think nowadays you have about a 50-50 chance of saying people shouldn't get shot in the neck, and then somebody will say, oh, what I mean, were they a fucking MAGA guy? Do they deserve it? That's pretty much the state of affairs, where it's okay to shoot someone if you don't like them. Neck shooting really has to be reserved for the biggest pieces of shit. You know, your murderers. If you shoot someone in the neck, you should get shot in the neck. I think that's fair to say. If you molest kids or something, neck shooting. I was trying to think of a third thing that wouldn't deserve neck shooting to complete the joke there, but it didn't come to me. I was thinking, if you don't return your shopping cart, you deserve to get shot in the neck. I could have done better than that. Now I'm trash talking myself. How ironic. I've become, yeah, there we go. This is what I was looking for. I gotta get somewhere where I can get a good whip spin shot. And I don't really know, I'm sure this is a big project and it's been talked about and everyone knows they're renovating the the Parliament. But yeah, I don't know what they're doing. What I do know is I was here last night at like midnight, driving by as we went to the diner, and those cranes were swinging even in the middle of the night. So I wonder how close I'm allowed to get here. Yeah, garbage, cigarette butts, even in our nation's capital. People are chucking butts on the ground. What a time to be alive. Throw a butt on the ground, you just get shot in the neck. I'll say that. That's how I feel after all this garbage picking. Maybe not shot in the neck, but somebody flick you in the jugular. I think that would be fair. We're gonna get our little panning shot of Trash Talk Ottawa intro sequence. Whew. Thankfully, no cops have harassed me. I feel like I do look suspicious with this, but oh, this is gonna be a nice shot. Something I do like comedy and all, but I do like making film or whatever. Anyway, I can appreciate a nice shot, and I think I'm gonna get a real good one here. Trash Talk, Ottawa. We did it. We did it. I'm gonna dump my garbage right here. Come on. Yep. We did it. There you go. Maybe that's the shot right there. Not that much trash on here. Again, as it should be. Laser beams. That's the sort of trash deterrent I expect from Parliament. Give me fucking laser beams. I think I might walk home, but I'm putting in the headphones because I do love trash talk. This has been fun for me, and I'm learning a lot about my speech patterns and the ability to just riff and hopefully get good guests and all. But man, I actually just miss pure picking. Put in my headphones, get her done. And I think it's about that time that I do that, because I'm tired of you people. You people who may or may not exist. Again, I alternate from 0 views to 200, and it's really unclear to me why some videos would get that. You'd think after certain people get clued in, they would just, or maybe I'm projecting my own habits. Yeah, if I like a show, I just become a regular watcher of that show, and I've been doing this now for weeks. I haven't missed an episode. I've given you no reason to stop watching. Every week it's the same trash content. Maybe that's why you're not watching, same content. But you know what? Fuck you too then. I think we're calling that Trash Talk episode 16, solo talking, solo walking, here in our nation's capital. Have a good one.